the weekend. It's really chilly up here. It got cold last night, and I don't have heat in this room. I haven't turned the furnace on yet, so it's a bit chilly in here. But I'll suffer through it. I'll suffer through it. That's one of the advantages to this is I have like a R40 insulation factor, I think, going. It's just the rest of me that's a little cold, but my head will stay warm. Maybe not the top, but the front. Boy, am I rambling. Sorry about that. Had the boys out, took them for a walk, cooked some food for them. They had their breakfast, taking care of some stuff. I got the t-shirts, and I've been printing labels, and I'm getting ready to start throwing shirts in mailers. Boy, did I underestimate XX and XXX t-shirts. I'm going to have to place a second order on Monday for them, and I'm going to have them put an expedite on them as best they can for them. And they're still local, so it's not like I'm getting them from overseas or anything. But I was kind of just anticipating, some bunch of mediums and larges. There's only been a couple of mediums and one small. I've got a bunch of those, and XLs. I kind of thought that would be it, and then when people started mentioning double and triple XL, I kind of went, oh, I should probably order some of those. Man, a lot of double and triple. So I'm going to probably get everything that I can, everything I have, I'm going to try to get in mailers this weekend and take them all to the post office on Monday, because the books should be arriving next week, and then the real insanity begins. But I just had no idea that we were going to be going into those sizes as much as we were. So I'm going to send off everything I can at this point today, and then I'll just have to wait till I get the reorder in. So I'll get on that ASAP. I'll do that Monday morning and just ask them to not do them funky, but do them quickly. And that's that. It was a little daunting when I started printing labels, mailer labels, and I'm looking at all the orders, and I would see like a medium and a large, then it would be like 12 double XLs, and then like a dozen triple XLs and stuff. So I'll get them to you. They may just take a little bit longer than I anticipated, because I just thought the other sizes would be what was going to be going quickly. So I ordered more bulk in those sizes. So that'll get done. I was thinking about some other people I've worked with, and an artist came to mind that I had a really wonderful time with, but it started really shitty with him. And that's Nils Lofgren from the E Street Band. He was in Crazy Horse with Neil Young. He had his own group, Grin. And he's been with the E Street Band with Springsteen for years and years and years. And he called me we had met before, and he called me to do his album. I think we were doing it in Phoenix at this, I think his name's Otto Dagnolo. I'm not sure on the pronunciation, but it was Otto. It was his studio in Phoenix. And Nils had called me, and he said, man, come on in, and we'll this great restaurant. We'll have a really beautiful dinner night before, and then we'll get right in the studio and start working. And I said, great. And I wrote it down on my calendar, and then I've told this story before, but it's related to Nils. And I was sitting at home, and my phone rang, and Nils called. And he said, Lee, how you doing? I said, man, great. I'm really excited about, getting there and working with you. And he said, why aren't you here? And I realized that I had put the date to go with him down a day later. And they were all, the band, Nils, everybody was sitting at this really special dinner he had going, and I'm still sitting at home in LA. So I panicked, contacted the airline, went to Burbank Airport. There was a last-minute flight going out to Phoenix, and I grabbed a ticket for it, got on the plane. There were two other people on the plane, some guy sitting there I'd never seen before. There's only three of us on the flight. And then I looked next to me, and it was Alice Cooper. So I spent the whole, it wasn't a long flight there, it's like an hour or something. But Alice and I just caught up at that point on things. And I told him what a screw up I was, that I was supposed to actually be there at dinner now, and I'm missing the nice hang dinner and all that stuff. And the thing that truly sucked about it was I was taking Frankenstein with me, and when I checked into the airport, they wouldn't let me take it on the plane, even though the plane was completely empty. It was in a hard case. So I had to check it in as luggage, and it's an hour flight. I get to Phoenix, and I go to baggage claim, and there's no base. And man, I go ballistic at this point and get the police involved. And they checked, and they found that the base was in a freight elevator, and that chances are whoever had put it there was probably going to try to rip it off if there wasn't a giant stink about it. And there was a huge giant stink about it. And about 30 minutes later, they found it in there, and they brought it out, and it was okay. And that was the last time I ever traveled with that base, because I could not take a chance on losing my favorite instrument to some jerk off in baggage claim who's gonna maybe rip something off. Because it's such a drag when you're traveling with instruments. Like I usually, like if I have my Dingwalls or something and I have to check them in, I put everything in the case carefully. The coil cords, or coil them up, put them in the little section that's, you can seal up with those and the strap and all that stuff. And then when I get to wherever I'm going, you open up the case, and there's a TSA notice in it, and the cords are like around the neck, and maybe the jack cord end has like put a little dent in the neck. They just don't give a crap about your gear at all. And that's been the worst part for me, what's traveled with happened with airlines. I can deal with delays and all the nonsense that goes on, and the faux security that goes on, because so many times you're going through that line and there's a person sitting there looking at the x-ray screen, and then a friend of theirs comes over and they sit and they talk for a few minutes while a bunch of bags go through, and you just go, whatever, and then they do these kind of tests every year where the government goes in and tests the TSA, and it turns out like 80% of like explosives and guns and knives and stuff actually get through security. And I think one of the worst period things for me was I was coming back. I had flown to England. I think this was with Phil Collins. And I flew over on British Air. And then I had to fly back to New York on British Air. But at that point, my ticket changed to American. So I had to change over domestically and fly from New York back to LA. So I go check in, everything's cool. As soon as I check in, they look at my ticket. It's one way. So the alarms all go off, because you know that anybody who's going to do anything horrible isn't going to waste money on a round trip ticket. It's always going to be a one-way ticket. God knows that mentality is beyond me. But so they immediately take me over for a pre-screening, and they check out my suitcase, my carry bag, and my instrument. Everything's good. Then I go through regular security, and they check everything there, and everything's fine. They take my suitcase. It gets sent on, into luggage and all that. But they're going to let me take the base on the plane on this one. I get to the gate at this point, and there's another security area there. So they say, "Sir, come here." I go in there, they get a little, not a body search, but a pat down, check my carry-on bag, check my instrument and all that, and they say, okay. So, at this point, I've gone through 2 securities. I'm behind all that. Now I've had 3rd security, and I'm sitting there and waiting to board the plane, and I look over, and there was a sharper image in there. So I go walking in there. They're selling like steak knives, croquet sets. A ton of things that are potentially all weapons, and they're after security. So I go back, when I get to LA, I go up to the security people. I say, I need to talk to somebody in charge. And they get all uptight immediately. And I say, no, this is important. So this dude comes out and I go, let me explain to you what I just went through. And I said, after all the security, there's Brookstone. And they're selling all kinds of things that could be used as weapons. I don't understand why that should be before security. And so that things can be, taken, confiscated from carry-on and put in, a box, and they pick it up at the other end of the flight or something like that. The guy's freaking out going, I can't believe this. This is unbelievable. I'm on the phone right now. Like 6 months later, I go through, nothing had changed. It's still, Brookstone was still sitting there and stuff. I mean, it's all such window dressing. You want to be safe, but you also want them to be honest and do it right. I've been through Israel a bunch of times. They know how to do it. Security there is like unbelievable, yet it's really not invasive. They just really know professionally how to do it. So that's getting me to Phoenix with Nils Lofgren. So I finally get there. And get to the hotel really the wee hours of the morning, get up in the morning and hook up with Nils and stuff. And the thing that was really fun was the other day I was playing Mike Bott's music for you. And Mike was the drummer on this. And so it was great because I got to spend, days with Mike, who was such a dear friend. So the cast of characters on this one was Mike Bott's on drums, not on the dates we did, but as overdubs. I think Skunk Baxter did some guitar work on it. But one thing that was really cool was rather than having a rhythm guitar player on this project, Nils hired Christine Vivona, I think is her last name. And she was played harp on this album. And she's a classical harpist from the area, from Phoenix area. And it was just so great to hear the sound of that instrument, kind of like when I work with the Webb sisters. But to hear the sound of the harp as compared to a rhythm guitar, because she could dig in deep. It was really, really good. And Ricky Simpkins played mandolin and fiddle. And I believe that was after we finished basic tracks. We really cut pretty much trio basic tracks with Nils and Michael and myself. And then Amy Horn played French horn, which is applicable. And the album was called Breakaway Angel. And it came out in 2001, but we might have cut it in 2000. I can't remember the time frame on that one. And so I just thought I'd play a couple of songs from that. I've been so busy, I really haven't had time for the past couple of days to sit down and really focus on learning a tune or two to play. I'll get to that maybe beginning of next week, because this weekend it's just, I'm going to be buried sorting out T-shirts and things like that. So it's easier at this point for me just to kind of sit here and listen to the music with you. But I played on all these things. I'm just going to sit. I'm just going to sit here and dig me, and go, God, he's a genius. Listen to that. Who else could do that? Maybe everybody. I don't know. We'll find out. So the first song I'm going to play here is called "The Hill." Let me get this back to the start of it. And this is Nils Lofgren on guitar and all kinds of stuff, and singing and just catering, everything. And the guy's he's a Renaissance man. And he was when he was like with E Street and all that, he did all kinds of acrobatics on stage, flips and stuff, because he was a gymnastics champion, which I think was pretty amazing, really cool. So this is called "The Hill." So here we go. Major minor changes like that.
I know revenge, the cost is high. Is this the hill you want to die on? Is this the hill you want to die on?
I love Mike Botts. Such a great feel. Hearing that harp in the background is so beautiful.
Like playing with children, forgetting the clock. We've stumbled on to a world we could rock.
Some tense and they're kind of Lou Reedy.
So baby, let them small people scatter like bad jacks cast from heaven. They don't matter. Is this the hill you want to die on? Is this the hill you want to die on? I am a rock you can rely on. This ain't the hill you want to die on.
Love his style. Really unique player. It's great. Love it. I'm going to do a song called Crying Tonight. Now, let's see how this one goes.
We started going out in the heat of the summertime. Hand in
The harp
hand,
is just so cool.
walking in the sand. Under the hot sun, tumbling in the cool blue waves. Saltwater stinging our eyes. We kissed for the first time. You got me to believe in forever. Now you say we need more time apart. Baby, I'm crying tonight. Yes, I'm crying tonight.
Yeah.
Have mercy, baby, I'm crying tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
You say maybe we should see other people, hoping that way we could feel sure. But darling, if your lips should ever touch another's, I'd be too hurt to love anymore. Baby, I'm crying tonight. Yes, I'm crying tonight. Have mercy, baby, I'm crying tonight. Yes, I only a dream of forever. Now I'm watching it crumble apart. And I'm crying tonight. And crying tonight. Have mercy, baby, I'm crying tonight. Yes, I'm crying tonight. I'm crying tonight. Have mercy, baby. Have mercy, baby. I'm crying tonight. Crying tonight. Let the big tears fall. Let the big tears fall.
A little of that Sam Cooke vibe. Somebody's at the door. He really wanted to focus on his acoustic playing on this album. I mean, he's known really, pretty much electric, like with the E Street Band and all that stuff. But this one, he really focused on his electric playing. And just basically, just having drums, bass, harp for the most part, and acoustic guitar on basic tracks really gave everybody space and really a nice place to just lay it down. And this video is getting a little long. It's 24 minutes, but the hell with it. I'm going to do one last song. This one's a different little vibe on it. But once again, Nils Lofgren, and the album is Breakaway Angel. So here we go. I'll give you a quickie here on this one. This one is called Putting Out Fires. So here we go, Putting Out Fires. This is a different vibe. here. God. Yeah. Nils Lofgren, God, just fun. It's really nice to do an album where the guy just goes away from his electric and just wants to focus on his guitar as an acoustic instrument. And man, he plays the crap out of it. He's really good. And I do miss Mike Botts. God, what a great drummer to play with. So I am off to start packing T-shirts into envelopes and putting labels on them, and then after that I can go through and count inventory and figure out how much reorder I'm going to have to do to cover all of the double and triple XLs and a bunch more XLs. It just kind of caught me off guard. For some reason, I didn't think that was going to be the sizes that were going to be gone that fast. But man, every time a label would come up on the computer, I would look at it and say triple XL. Oh no, God, I'm freaking out. So I'll get them out as quick as I can. I'll get the reorder in as quick as I can. Try to get everything going here. So that's the rest of my day. Gonna do some FaceTime with my sister and her kids are at her place, and go say hi to everybody and just take care of a bunch of stuff I got to do. It seems like every day is just packed with things to do, obligations that aren't necessarily obligatory, but obligations, things I have to get done. So I'm going to go do that. Wish everybody stay safe as you possibly can. Now's not the time to back off. No matter what Van Morrison and Eric Clapton say at this point, there's a shitstorm hitting the fan over these two guys, bringing out a record saying, open everything up, let's just go for it. It's like, okay, fine. Well, you need the money, guys? What's going on here? And my heart every day is with all of the frontline people that are just busting their butts, just trying to save people's lives. They're the heroic members of our society right now, as far as I'm concerned. They're really putting their lives on the line for all of our sake. So give them a thought. If you can, just go thank you. Just if you see somebody in scrubs or anything like that, just say thank you. So, okie dokie, I will see you tomorrow. I just, maybe I'll play. I'll see how things are going, see how much work I get done today. But it was just fun to visit Nils. It was a fun project, even though, as I said, it started off really screwed up with me putting my calendar a day late. It's only happened twice in my life, and it happened here, and I missed out on a really good dinner, I heard. So, my bad. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.